What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Real Fitness. On today's episode, we're highlighting John Mayers, the Black John Mayers, the one and only, not the one he thought about. We got some
He's
flavor. We got
black.
some flavor to this John Mayers. But getting to know your friendly neighborhood trainer, John Mayers. He's been with Real Fitness for almost 4 years, and just things you probably
Yes.
didn't know about him. And I know one of the things we're going to start off with off top, which is pretty impressive, is you were a Marine. John was a
Yes, sir.
Marine. So,
Yes, sir.
let us know how did that happen? What led you to the Marines back in the day?
Yes, sir. Once a Marine, always. What happened was, at the time, I actually didn't even like, I never wanted to be connected to the military. I never wanted credit cards. I didn't want nothing to do with anything. But I was in high school for a while, and I was just having random jobs, and I didn't want to, I felt like I was aimless, or I needed a direction. I also thought I needed discipline, but when I got to Marines, I realized I thought it was discipline. I just needed a direction. It was kind of like after 9/11, because that's when I signed up. I signed up 2 weeks before the actual event.
2 weeks
So
before
when I
nine
thought,
eleven happened?
yeah, give or take,
Wow.
like it was like a week or two, because when I did, my friend at the time, we signed up, and when we signed up, he was like, "Hey, man, not doing nothing, no wars, ain't nothing going down." And literally, I was like, classic John Luck, because this is gonna happen in a lot of different stories. Only me. So I signed up, and like that, unfortunately, so I went in thinking that whatever I signed up for was kind of, like they're gonna just throw me in the desert. But that's what got me in there. I thought that was when I needed a direction.
Wow.
So I went there. Yeah.
How where were you stationed? Like during your time?
Yes. So they have East and West. Now the West is only males, and the East Coast, Paris Island, South Carolina, has a male and female base. Well, we're on the same camp, but I mean same island, but there was a section for the female Marines. And so I was on the East Coast. When I got out of boot camp, my job was to actually welcome people who got out of boot camp, because then I ended up working in North Carolina. So I ended up having to go to it's called School of Infantry, and that's where I ended up working. So I was I was on the East Coast, and my job was to like I said, to receive all graduating, Marines. So I saw all the West Coast guys, which I forgot that we had a West Coast, and I pretty much saw everybody for like 4 years. Whoever got out of the Marines, I saw them and I welcomed them into my job.
So what
I
you were
was the
like
East Coast.
the orientation guy?
Yeah. So basically, so because everybody's like, oh, what kind of Marine were you? My job was 0121, and that's pretty much administration, but with the uniform on. And so my job when I got to the School of Infantry was everybody comes from boot camp in one, but they all have different jobs, different schools. So if you were like aviation and blah blah, I would send you to Florida, I would send you to Georgia, I would send you to Virginia. I was sending people to schools, and then after your school to learn your job, you go to an actual base.
Man,
So
that
I
that
mind.
that's wild because it just clicked of like you're the guy that knows everyone's name, and I'm like, that's what it was. Like you
I
had
told yeah.
you had to be the welcome.
I,
Everyone walks into Real Fitness. John got a nickname for him, knows their name, sings
yep,
a song for them. I'm like,
pretty much.
that's so the military taught you that.
The military told me this. They told me this because all right, so it wasn't just names and faces, but let's say all right. So there were 4 companies. So in a company you got like literally like 400 people, 300, 400 people. So the 4 companies, and every Monday they came in, and every Friday they leave. So we were receiving, and and throughout that week, I had to get all the paperwork done before they go to the school. When you leave boot camp, sometimes your family doesn't know where you are. A lot of guys have one has a baby and they're looking for him. So I'd get the calls and I'd have to be like, hey, can you get this guy thing so we can talk to the family? Sometimes your family doesn't know where you are. It just happens like that too. We don't always get to go home after boot camp. Sometimes apparently you just go straight to your school, or go to the school of infantry. So the names, all I had, we have a folder, and all I would look at were names from the last name and then social security numbers. So I could have five, you know what I mean? And I have to learn their last four. And then the names that they popped up, and they were like, oh, I'm like, oh, so, and they're like, yeah. I'm like, so then I got also good at pronouncing everyone's last name. You know your last name. For 4 years, I would see 400 people every Monday and Friday for 4 years.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's how many people.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't nickname all of
That's
them, but they, yeah. And then they got the name on the, they got the name on the chest, so it works.
So, so being that this is the Real Fitness podcast, we got to know what was the hardest workout you ever did in the Marines.
Oh my God. All right. Because when something's difficult in Marines, it's usually because they're trying to they're trying to challenge you while you're trying to be physical. So like depending on how you feel, if they're yelling at you, the hardest thing I had to do was when I was actually not feeling well and they don't give a shit. You can't be sick in boot camp, it's whatever. So I also had the male pride. I didn't want to say, hey, you can't be like, excuse me, sir, I'm sick. Cause then you're going to get picked on. So, I was feeling like really sick. I was just down. So I had to do an actual obstacle course, climbing ropes, uh, walking on logs and all that other obstacles, like a damn near American Ninja. So the last part of it, you have to pretty much climb down a rope a long distance over water. And halfway through the rope, you got to turn your body around and keep crawling. Now, if you fall in the water, you got to do the whole thing over, but you have to sing the Marine Corps anthem. And because I didn't know it, it kind of motivated me to finish because I was really tired. I would have passed out. I would have jumped in the water, no problem. But they were like, if you drop, you have to sing the song. And I was like, I'm good. I don't want to get wet and try to sing a song. The other one
What I
is
got a question. Do you still not know the Marine Corps
nope.
anthem?
I
Like
still don't
still
know it. Well, I
just
know that
nope.
from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of
So it's a
Tripoli,
Tripoli.
do 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 do. We will
All
fight for
right.
yes. Don't make it. The second one was so in the Marines they don't have black and white Spanish. You're either green or dark green. Make sense, right? Like you're green, Michael. You're a little darker green, Peter, and Lucho, you're green too. Anyway, so the dark green Marines, you had to we had to swim the first time as everybody moved on. When I went back to the people that had to go over, it was just me and my brothers. We had to learn how to swim. And then we had to swim. And had to learn to qualify. So that was hard, but it showed me like when I really have to do it in the beginning. It's, like, and then I also had to jump. I don't know how many feet, but I had to jump and swim across to get out. Once they told me that if I didn't do it, I had to stay an extra 2 weeks. And pretty
Yeah.
much most of my motivation was almost fear based. Like I did it. I learned some things. That was the hardest thing. Other
what
than that,
got
it's
you
all mental. It's all mental.
what got you to go to the Marines?
Just the fact that I just wanted, I also wanted money for school. So it was school trying to get disciplined. And I figured out when I came out, I'd be chilling. I kind of always liked I always liked working at anyway, so I thought I was going to be a trainer because that's what they knew me as at boot camp. We would talk about what we would do. And I think I was always training. I was working out. So by the time I was 21, I was still working out. But the job and being a trainer only happened when I got it. So that's what
When do
made
you,
me
do you
want to go.
remember? Do you remember how old were you when you first lifted weights? When you first did a or just work? How old were you when you first worked out ever? Ever? Can you remember your
I was
first
in high
workout?
school. Yeah, I was in high school. We had we had gym and it was phys ed, but it was only till my second and last year that we had I didn't know we had a weightlifting room because it was like when you read your program, I said weightlifting. I said, what? What? What do you mean? There's no gym. So it was actually just a small office room, like two office rooms that were made when they had weight equipment there. So, I almost couldn't even reach the pull-up bar. So I had to learn to jump and get that. But the first time is when I was on the bench and I don't know what they put on there, but bench maybe like 70 pounds. They felt like I did, you know what I mean? 60, 70 pounds. But I was just surprised. And from there, I loved working out. My dad got me my first bike ever. It was like was it Wider? Is
Weeder.
that
Oh
you
yeah,
know that
Weeder.
brand?
Weeder.
Wheater.
Yeah, yeah,
Leader,
Yeah,
Weeder.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
leader, leader.
I had
Your
Wheeler
dad
and
got you
I had,
that. Wow.
yeah, I came home and it was a bar on my floor. What the hell is this?
Was
And
it like a
because he
bench
ordered
press or just the barbell?
just a bar. It's kind of hood. I had no bench. So it was whatever I had was going to be me and them things. And each one of them had like a little metal stick that you had to screw to tighten it. It was fucking crazy. It was
Oh,
Yeah,
old
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
school,
yeah.
old school. Yeah,
And
yeah.
so because we're gonna get into this, the reason I am about my form, even from before I knew what to do, is because I was so had to watch the weights to see if they would fall off or if they would unscrew, and like every couple reps it would get loose. So I had to really pay attention to everything I did. And there was a lot of switching of weight. So but that was like my best gift. my own bar, two little handles, nice little bunch of weight. I only put on like 20 or 15 pounds, but yeah, I've always been working. I've been working out, but for real though, for like 18, since I was 18 years old. We go to the park. We like, there's a lot of scaffoldings in New York. At least I don't know if there still are yet. So there's bars. We like go under the scaffolding, park, pretty much, yeah, push-ups on the street, things like that. I worked out on the street, on the streets. That's about it. Yeah,
since
but the
Did you
since
fitness
guys
thing,
you
do did you guys do legs back then, or was it all push-ups, pull-ups?
that's I promise you, it was very little to no legs. In fact, I'll tell you what. We didn't know.
But
Remember,
that was the
remember that?
baggy jean era, so I feel like it didn't matter, huh? You just had to have
No. All right. So back in the day, women, we used to date them. They never looked at our legs. They didn't care. But I feel like, all right, so when I first saw my first like trainer experience, oh man, now that I realize what it is, I'm gonna tell you. But so when I was there, it was just a big, big ball guy, and it would be like at a recreation center, right? Like we had like New York City rec centers, just spaced all over the place. You could just pay like $11 or something to go in there, da da da. And the first thing he started having me doing was arms, shoulders, like 30 of this, 50 of that. He was just relentless. And so at 18 years old, I just had a big ass upper body. They used to call me Diesel Backman. That was my name. It's called Diesel Backman because my back was just big. I swear to God, I have witnesses.
diesel Batman.
Diesel Backman. So he was the first, he would tell me to do 30 reps of bicep curls, like for 3 sets. Like I was leaving there, like I just looked
Three
swole.
sets of 30 reps.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Damn.
Remember, I didn't know shit. This kid, he was just in
wow,
there like, he was like a trainer that would just like, if you wanted something, he would charge whoever, you know what I'm saying? But I think he was just a trainer and he looked black. So you believe everything he said. His legs was diesel. He never
Yeah,
trained me.
yeah, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Woo,
And so
30 sets of
but that I was doing
no
like,
part of it.
I was doing all kinds of shit. Yeah. Like I actually felt it was good. I was
Yeah,
doing that. So at 18, I was working in a bakery, got t-shirts on, I had a fro, actually had hair. Fro, a nice, delicious, coming to America, juices and berries scent. That's what I swear, it was fluffy, it's shiny, and now it's gone. Anyway, so that's it. I worked out since I was 18, and my first training job was when I got out of the Marines. I worked in New York Sports Club. It was like a basement gym, so it wasn't really the best for like people just walk by and see it. It literally was like you would see a sign and nothing. There wasn't even a window into it. It was all downstairs and covers. And then I last on for that reason, so it was at Equinox, and that's when I met my first bunch of mentors. You know what I mean? It was like
which
20 to
Equinox?
20 trainers.
Which Equinox did you work? Which?
19th and Broadway. It was a flagship one,
Oh, you
City
went to the
Broadway.
one I worked at
Yes, that's
on
what I remember.
Broadway.
Yeah, we got like a similar path. Like we missed each other, but definitely I was there. I was running. They knew me. I was the one that was running up and down the stairs, pull-ups on the stairs, climb a dude. I was all over the fucking place, man. Because I was learning from everybody.
That place
Not
opened
like
up
that.
in '93 or '92.
Right. So not like that. There was like 3 or 4 Jessies, 2 Peters, 5 me and Mike and like 3. It was a bunch of us spread out. So that's why when I came here and I was like, oh my god, this is like the gym, this one of everybody that used to take. You know what I mean? Then boom, they're flexible, they're doing it, and then she just finished it up. So I feel like I'm back home. People in
Man,
17th
so
Street.
oh sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt you.
that's it. That's it. That's it.
I was gonna ask, so coming from New York and the Marines, how did those
Mm.
environments shape how you train others? And
Oh,
how would you say what differentiates you from a typical trainer?
all right. So being from New York, like I said, the whole like when I started working out, just on the street type shit, I just always like being physical. Um, like I said, the whole form and technique thing, having to be forced into that. Just this. So before the whole workout part, the reason that I started to and wanted to feel good about it is I worked at Reebok Sports Club, and I used to have to make smoothies and, pick up boxes. I was young, so I didn't really remember legs. Like you said, I didn't know about taking care of them. I didn't know about stretching them, nothing. So, a trainer named Alex, a Filipino guy, when he noticed, which is what I do, he noticed that I was grabbing my back and da, 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 da. And he asked me what happened. So I told him my back hurts. He tells me to stretch my hamstrings. I thought he was bugging, da, 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 da. I did it. And I just thought that knowledge was so fucking I thought it was like magic. You know what I mean? I just stretched my hamstrings. But the fact is, when I train like that, this is what I feel like. Unlike, and I don't like to say typical trainer. I don't think any of us are typical. You know what I mean? Like, I think the great trainers. There's us, and then there's like people that are probably just learning it. My difference is that I'm beyond the intuitive style. Like, it's not just a word. Like, I'm in tune with each different person. Like, it's like reading the room. Everyone is different. I'm just into making sure that person has taking out most of the fears of training. Like, not what they heard, but like the immediate, as soon as you see something like the negative, I can't say that I do anything that different outside of like, I'm just like you. So when you said that I like know their names, and I just can't help but almost become a little bit of each person that I train. Does that make sense? Like, I know we like cops that get desensitized by seeing a lot of violence. Sometimes we think that we're like, oh yeah, yeah, and we try to be understanding, but we end up doing like all this like formula shit. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I don't know, like you guys are, I can tell you guys care about your clients, but I mean they're just in terms of the typical. If there's a typical, I think a typical coach or trainer is just trying to get the job done. Just say, yeah, boom, I got him to sweat. Okay, but then there's a trainer that wants to find out why something is, why you hurt, the self discovery, like when people find out what it is that's causing them pain, or the fact that they can fix it, that's why I feel like that's why I feel like I got my money's worth. You know what I'm saying? I think once they know more, they fear less and they just enjoy it more. I really enjoy training as much as you won't see me do it. I do a lot of like deep flexibility, stretching, baseline strength when I have injuries. Like me, I've come from a wall falling on me, a super supreme sciatica. I have all the issues that they. So I just want them to know that just because we're trainers, that we kind of get an image of like not a disability, but like we can't get hurt. If we say we're hurt or tired, people, you know what I mean, they look at us like we're crazy because we lift
Mhm.
weights, not humans. But once they start to relate like that, I'm just good at relating. I think I'm beyond the intuitive, just something that's about. You know what I mean? Like anything can be made better or so, you know what I mean? So like, I just got used to being, like you said, like the name thing, the name thing, getting to know every single body. Can't be everybody's friends, but I can speak to whoever, you know what I mean? This is why I like training. It is the best job on the planet for a reason. It's not a job, but it is. But it is also life, right? If someone can relate how they make decisions in life, how they make decisions in the gym, asking, deciding if you want to go from 40 to 50 is, for bad example, like trying to decide if you want to you know what I mean? Like, it just helps you deal with stress. Nobody ever regrets having a great workout. You know what I mean? Like there's so much beyond, and that's why I call myself the fit philosopher because it's just so much to having a good mind state that they both relate. You can't really work out fucked up in the head.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like if you could work out angry, but you guess what? You'll probably get hurt. You know what I mean? You get
Yeah.
lost. I think something's not going to be focused on while you're training. I, man, I do distract some people sometimes. I got better at not, right? When people are like, not even with
Sometimes
cues,
you
but just,
need sometimes you need to distract people. Sometimes it's good to like,
yeah, but I'm the
get
king of that shit, but I'll try not to do too much. The distraction does help, but that's why back to, or if not to bring around it with the not typical shit, I give targets. There's cues and all that good shit, but even a good cue, depending on who is listening, is less. You have to kind of take them to show them themselves or whatever. But I give targets, I just gave what I used to call honest exercise or honest moves is like if you try to reach, I mean, you see me physically, actually. When you try to reach a certain thing, your body has to force itself into a position to get there, right? Then if I try to give you that, if I see that you can't, that's when I know, oh, what we need to work on because not that everyone has to have this exact positioning. Everybody's body does what does, right? Like your arm's length is that on the years I've been training, 15 plus, there's a lot of commonalities. And so most of my training is based off of those commonalities. And if people can get that first, there's less for me to say. Because at first I tell all my clients, it might seem like I'm saying a lot, but I'm just saying what's necessary. Then I dumb it down. And then for the most part, I could just hit my stomach because nobody wants to hear stomach, cricket, nobody wants to hear constant reminder. So do this, you know what I mean? Like, I try to make it easier for all of us, like me and them. You know what I mean? I love to do this. So anyway, as I'm working out, it seems like from a distance that we're having too much fun, but people get it in, you know, they connect with the
No,
results.
that's I feel like looking over and seeing if anyone's ever thinking, oh, they're having too much fun, that's an amazing session because
Yeah.
most people hate. That's a win. And that's an unspoken win. That's an unspoken win of like, yeah, it's cool to like, oh man, they deadlifted this or they lost this weight, but people who generally dread and hate going to the gym and to be like, oh, they're
Yeah.
having too much fun. That's a huge accomplishment. Huge
Yeah,
accomplishment, especially
big
for
time.
adults who like the bulk of our
Yeah.
day are like, I dread everything I have to do today, you know?
Well, I promise you that if you guys put a mic to my session, you were actually still within the last we hear like there's a lot of like, you know, thing like, oh, I hate you right now. You know, it's like it's like, you know, it's like, some you know, but it looks like lots of fun. But everyone see especially where we so I was just talking who was I talking to today? And then we were talking about how we like Ashley Young. We were talking about how we like the I don't know why we talking about this. If you just like the realness of it, like when I was riding around looking for work, um, like this, it had I like gyms that look like we do, like that. This they mean business. You know what I mean? I feel that our gym looks like seriously because there's not many. I've run around. You know, mention their names because I don't want to promote, but I've seen a couple that look like us. Like you know the one we did the little seminar in Hawthorne. Like they have our feel, but they, you know everyone got their own sauce. You know what I mean? We got something going, and I understand that between marketing and social media, all this shit, like people don't know we're out there, but people that know we're here, they come back. You know what I mean? Like the people that's actually getting the shit I'm talking about, like there's some form of like win that they got, but there's still everyone that's still with us found something that they got. Even the ones that left were probably because wedding or they had the same home. You know, these guys know what they're doing, and whatever. But majority of people that move away or can't be with us is just it's because of some external shit. You know,
Yeah.
to see if you have a place you would go to, and it's not because we're convenient. You know what I mean? We still have people that come from like Culver or fucking I was gonna say Malibu and the shit. Downtown, you know what I mean? I'm still 4 years in, you know.
Yeah.
I just got the difference between five and just the most.
So
So
I got a
also,
question. Oh, sorry.
yes,
I got a
good,
question.
good.
So like you're talking about, you know, your sort of philosophies and things and what's molded you as a trainer you
Yes.
know, to bring in what you bring to the table. Is there a belief or a philosophy that you held on to early on in your training that you no longer hold on to now?
That's a good one. Yes. I was overly into to form a technique to the point where I wouldn't allow people to do anything else but so, but then as you know too, depending on how we train, some of the whole trainer spectrum had changed from like, you know, the overly posturing or certain things don't work and this and that FMS bullshit. Like I went through a bunch of testing things out, but I would say this, if it was new and I thought it was something like the next best thing, once I examined it and went through it, yeah, like, you know, I would start to eliminate stuff, but there were things that I thought were the next best thing. Like
Does
I
I
still
used
love
does
to
training.
anybody still fuck around with FMS, or is that just gone
No, that was just
I think
so?
there
2006
are. I still see gyms that do it. I
that
think
have it.
there's because
Yeah.
it's a brand. It's a brand, and they're still selling
Yeah.
their brand. But man, yeah, I remember like. So John, you used to run those FMS tests also.
I was gonna say that they actually started it in the Equinoxes, and mine
Ah,
was because it was a flagship. I was one of the first trainers to put people through it, so that's why it's so.
Yeah,
I can't
what was the name
fucking
of that guy? Gray
Gray
Cook or
Cook,
something?
Great
Gray
cook.
Yeah,
Cook,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
Gray Cook.
yeah.
yeah. I've
It's
met a
funny
lot of great.
because when you're new, it's like you think, oh yeah, this is the thing. Like you're like,
Yeah, the
okay, yeah,
only
we have to
thing
do this
ever.
test because if
It
they
feels
test bad, they're
important.
gonna get hurt because this is what they say. And then after a
Right,
while, you're
right.
like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, I'm a trainer and I'm failing all these tests and I work out all the time
The
and I'm
first
not
one I
hurt. I'm
did.
like, how is
Yeah,
this? You know, is this? Yeah.
Yeah, I get somebody
whenever.
that would pass the hamstring test and like pass them all.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you don't even need us, and you're good. Yeah, it's like
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like someone, I'm like, well,
you're
apparently to this
good.
test, you don't need shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
So,
remember it would be like, oh, if you don't pass a hamstring test, you're not allowed to do a kettlebell swing. I'm
yeah,
like,
right.
that
I'm
sucks.
like,
Like,
that shit would actually help. But so when I realized through that in the first, cause I was like, they wanted our feedback. I was like, you know, this is somewhat demotivating. Right? You know that if someone's getting like whatever you tell them the score for passing is, like if they ask, what are you doing? What are you writing down? And they're like, three is a pass, one is a this and that. If you show someone that they just started some shit and they fail because they're like, oh, if they see these numbers are not high, they'll want to train with you.
Yeah.
No, they're like, oh, okay, I'll go commit suicide.
Yeah, you're gonna need a lot of work. So just,
And
Yeah.
oh, just saying.
Yeah. You scared people
I think
away.
that's you was taught you. You know what you thought? You was right. Nah, that's
Yeah,
fucked
they're
up.
kind of like,
But
well, yeah, duh.
also,
I've never worked out a day in my life. What do you think I was in
What
the
do you
store?
think
Like,
I'm here
yeah,
for?
but when two trainers had the same score as this motherfucker, I was like, yo, you need to put your shirt up
Yeah, right.
because you got the
actually,
sucky scores too.
that makes me want like so because that's a good one. Like when you look, I'm sure most trainers you look back and what was maybe like an era where you're like, damn, I can't believe I used to make people do that. Like training or something like workouts you used to make people do where you're like, damn, I can't believe I used to do that.
Oh shit. Oh, this is a random. This is a today question. If I had a day to think about it, I think there wasn't much that I was like, oh, I'm just gonna force them through it. But I think only one time. I think Rio Sports Club is just like it was how they wanted me to train them. They had like this express line shit. But I don't think I've ever like was like, yo, do this, and I did it because that's against my thing. You know what I mean? I can't come up. If I could come up with one, I'll try. I don't think I was ever forced to do something ridiculous. Like, nah, like I didn't. It wasn't even. There wasn't like any doohickeys or anything like that that we
I
had to
got
try.
I got a funny story on that. Like, real quick. This dude used to come into this is when I ran House of Fitness, and like he came in like every day for like 2 months, and it was like, stop, man, just stop. But he wouldn't. He's like, I got unlimited. I'm gonna come in. And so one day we had two kettlebell racks, one kettlebell rack on one side of the room, one kettlebell rack on the other side of the room. I said, today you're going to take all the kettlebells off of that rack and you're going to move them to that rack. And you take all the kettlebells off of that rack and move them over to that rack. And then when you're done, switch them back. Yeah. And that was finally
Right.
when he was like, I'm like, yeah, it's farmer's walks. It's, you're going to be pulling, the whole
You could
thing,
be
everything
squatting in
checked.
there. That was
Yeah.
actually not a bad. That
Yeah,
wasn't
I
a bad
remember
one.
like when like Instagram first started showing videos and I feel like that's when trainers wanted to all get creative. And I just it was like and when battle ropes, it's when battle ropes were like the thing. Everyone was doing battle ropes. And I just remember
Yeah.
like coming up with these combos that I thought was like the cool. Oh, you're gonna do the battle rope, then you're gonna do a burpee into a box
Yeah, I
jump.
was gonna say a sprawler
And
too.
I'm like, oh, this is ultimate functional fitness. And it's someone who can like they don't even they're just so new and they're like, what are you doing, like what is
Yeah,
this?
I'm not
And but I'm
shaking
like,
my
oh, this is
leg.
better, this is the best cardio you could do. It's you're gonna do 5 battle rope
Yeah.
slams into a burpee into a box jump and they're just like it's an accountant who's 60
Yeah.
years old and he's like, dude, I just wanted to lift some weights, man.
Yeah. Can I just do bench press, please?
If you want me to. Yeah, so that's what it is too. Like after a while, like just being able to see something like there's no jumping in your future. Like I'm glad I've been in the game that long because like it is fun to look back and see how you were as a trainer. Like
Mhm.
this is like real podcast, right? In the first 5 years, I tell a lot of people this because they ask. I'm like, in the first 5 years, it's like Candyland. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like Candyland. Anybody?
Yeah, we
All
get
right,
it,
come
we
on, you
get it.
can fucking agree. Come on.
Yeah, we
Yes.
get it.
I'm like, so basically, I said, everyone's like, well, listen, don't, you know, because they're like, oh, do you da da da? Do you got dating? Is this and that? There's no money being there's no interchanging that shit because I'm already going through it. Because most every trainer should have, if not, they would, you know what I mean? Every trainer in the first 5 years, because it's almost like a driven, you know what I mean? You're, and I don't think that 'cause that's when it's like the student and the teacher, that's just not good. But the first 5 years, is work, but it's temptation, and you just develop your professionalism. Because I don't think that if you continue to do that, like, there's not much, like, you're gonna have to constantly get new and new, and you know what I mean? And it's just, as an energy and as an entity, you don't want to blemish your work, you know what I mean? So right now, I'm
Yeah.
super focused on what I'm doing, relationship wise, whatever, but I mean, I love what I'm doing and I'm focused. I'm getting more focused questions and stuff that you're giving us to the classes and things to think about and do, you know. I go through little random injuries, so I'm not nitpicking, but it's just, there's just random things that happen to me. But I just want to get a lot better at my foundational strength. I like to call it, a lot of static movement and then integrating band work because, bands, we kind of use them correctly. We use them correctly, but I mean, our clients don't really use them, you know what I mean, to work out with them. So I've just been integrating a few here and there. And I feel that bands So whenever someone has dumbbells or weights or anything, they have this like "Oh, they got the energy, and then they try to go to what they know is rest, like the end or whatever. So I like that balance. Won't let them drop something with gravity, because that's a comfortable feeling with something killing you. So if they can kind of train themselves to remember what it feels like to be constantly on. Like if our recruitment or contraction was numbers, they go from like 0 to 100 or 75, and they drop. There's always a zero drop. I like to have at least 20. You know what I mean? Like on the way down, just always be on and engaged because you could be slow and not really conscious of it. But I like the bands. They end up getting like what I would call the deeper muscles, the less superficial. Like it's just there's a constant isometric factor for me. And
Mhm.
so I just remember integrating it. And it's like like I said, the bands, they have this like, this magic, they're constantly forcing you to be on. So
Man, you got.
lately
I
I
feel
have,
like you need a brand. You just sold a product that you could like. You need the
Yeah.
John Mayer bands. That
Yeah.
right, man. You put that spiel right there,
yeah.
man. Come on, man. You're
Well, I'll put it to you this way.
instant millionaire.
We're going to do this because bands, what you got to do is put your name on it. But I've always thought about it and calling it a band of brothers.
Yeah, and then
Military
man,
sense.
man, you pull out, be like, man, how you think I got all these veins in my arms? It's like,
Exactly.
think the bands like.
Yo, that's enough. So, because we're gonna get to diet and all that. The veins, man. Let me ask you this, guys, because I'm not gonna lie, there's just so many. And am I doing something too much? There's too many. It seems like there's more.
Were you born? Well, I mean, like at
Black
15,
boy
did you have
veins?
that?
Was
Did you
that
have that
boy
at that
veins?
15?
No. So I'm not gonna lie to you. Shit. I think when did I start to being visible? It was like somewhere between 18, 17, 18, and then into the Marines because of the whole, like I was 155 in camp.
I think you
Hella.
just don't have like you don't have. I think you're just all arteries. Like you don't have. That's your whole body is arteries. That's all you got.
I fucking believe, I promise you this, I cannot win a next fight. But regardless if I got skills or not,
Yeah.
my shit, they think like, I'm gonna take that, the higher.
Yeah, right.
That's it, man. Doctors love me. There's no problems.
I
There's
was gonna
nothing.
getting an IV is so easy for you,
Okay.
man. They're just say
They all
eeny,
say the
meeny,
same joke. Let
miny,
me tell you
mo.
something right now. They all say the same joke,
I'm
right?
sure they
And
do.
I went
Yep.
to a prior spot that had the whole when you do the vitamin D's and all the aminos and stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, I guess it's easy to find. I'm like, it's
Is
fucking.
it?
Can I take the amino?
That's
Yeah,
funny.
'cause I know we're
That's
getting
the roadmaps.
we're getting close to the end, but I wanted to ask you. This is something we've asked the members, but it's good to ask a trainer this too. Of like, there's so many people who it takes them a long time to join the gym. They're intimidated.
Oh, right on.
They say stuff. I walk by the gym and people are in there doing things I could never do.
Yes.
I'm not sure about joining this gym. What would you tell someone who leads? You do personal training, small group personal training. You lead group classes. Someone who's interested, but they're looking at our Instagram or looking in the gym. Like I don't know if I could do that. What would you
No.
tell them to get them in the
That's a
gym?
good question because whenever they actually make it in to the gym and they're like, yeah, I used to walk by, and the only thing you can really do is to come in to try it. Like everything looks intimidating to you, to just step in there. There, I'll say all of us, part of the philosophy, right? Everyone that works out has a common interest, common something, and everybody wants to be better at something or to make something better on them, whether they were forced to or they were like the revelation came, but they just have to want to come in. We can't work on their perception of us. Even if you were doing like what we call a basic squat, the basic kettlebell goblet squat or something, that might be crazy to someone who can't get low. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whenever they come in and talk to us, that's when I like that's that kind of shit. Like they speak to me because the minute whatever they fear, whatever they like, they're like, oh well, I want to get in it, but the but is where is the answer. You know what I mean? But so most of their fears are just straight up made up for the most part. You know what I mean? And I don't want to I don't want to minimize their concerns. But if they want to come in and try something out, it just because all of our classes, every trainer is able to modify something. You know what I mean? So we don't want to be known as the gym that's soft or that, but we do care. We can make it work. We can make it work. It's majority 80% of that is them coming. The minute they come in and they talk to us, not many leave, right? Today I had the pleasure of meeting Terry, right? She seemed like a pleasure. She was like, we did everything for the most part with no weights first to get movement. So she knows that the weight is in her hand and it doesn't look like how it just looks. She can figure it out, but nothing, very sad fears, but I decided to distract. You know, like you said before, I was like, I distract her. You know, she's about to be, you got to tell somebody, it like it's a little trick. So, in the Marines, my brother, right? So I had, his last name is mine. So we all always alphabetical whatever we do. And so, my brother, Lou, his last name is mine. Samuel. So we lived together forever. Basically, I got from him, like, I did something one day and it was pissing me off. He's like, I think it was like opening, let's just say, for example, I was trying to open something. He's like, you gonna let that beat you? He said, you gonna let that little can beat you? I said, no. Like, it was just like, you can beat whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the Marty McFly thing, call me chicken, but I distract him. And I'm like, you're not gonna let this little jump off his, you're not gonna just kill you. And they're like, it's not like making them feel like shit, but it's like, come on, man. There's bigger things that could keep you from doing stuff. Like, no, it's the only thing stopping you is you. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm forever the philosopher, optimist,
There you go.
optimistic prime. Transform. You got
So
Optimistic Prime.
so like you got you love to talk about
a lot.
nutrition and and you definitely have a way of experimenting with your supplements and things like that. So
Time to
give
talk
us
about it.
give us the top, I don't know, top three, or maybe even five, depending on how many you got. Top 3 to 5 supplements that you would recommend that
I'll
people
do
take.
you one better. I'm
All
gonna
right.
show you. Take 10
Okay.
seconds. I think
Oh,
this because they're right next to me. I'm gonna
Oh,
grab me. Look, it's 1, 2, 3. They're right here. Is I'm gonna grab the top three that I like.
damn. He said, like, here we go. Okay, number one.
Is it in the game? Oh, no, I don't know if you noticed. I just had to happen a 25-pound bar in the bag and put it
Just
there.
I saw that leading up
It's
because
just natural.
it
It's
just
just
happened
natural.
to be in the background. Yeah, just like this just
Do this
happened
for
to
real.
be. This all the here just happened to be in the room. I just sat in front of it. And,
You know, like that's how we're still now getting the thing. So we got turmeric. Now this is curcumin. All right, curcumin. The
hmm.
turmeric, obviously, if you know turmeric, it has the inflammation.
anti-inflammatory. Yeah.
You know what time? 45. Don't let the face fool you. Then we got vitamin D. Okay. And
Does it have vitamin K?
K2.
Okay, too. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So I'll let them tell you why it's great, but I need all of that. And we're also, by the way, most of us are vitamin D deficient, is what it is. We don't get a lot of sun. And we can never we can never overdose of vitamin D. That's my opinion. But magnesium. I found out that if you're low in magnesium and vitamin D, those sometimes you get a little twitches sometimes. You think it's because you had a great workout and it should just start
Yeah.
pulsating. You're like, yeah,
Yeah.
my chin is still passing now. I found out that those certain things make that twitch on.
Oh, no kidding.
I'll get into that later because I'm not a doctor. Then, can't like, I
So, like, is that testosterone support, the ashwagandha? Is that why you use
think
that?
so. Yeah, I think because it has a couple of, properties, but it also is with black pepper.
Isn't it?
I don't know
It's
what happened.
doesn't that also help with like stress and like helps you feel chill or something?
Yes, this is actually, let me see what it says on here. I don't know if they added to it, but basically, I did my research before I got these. But
Like
yeah,
it's good for like anxiety or something. I heard that.
exactly.
Yeah,
Maximum strength, yeah, that's it.
you
And
can't get
then
that. You
I
can't
actually
get
have,
that here in Spain.
yeah,
No, because you feel a
I'm sure you could
stimulation
get
with
it
that.
naturally. You can't get it naturally?
No,
Because
I
it's like a
It's like
I've
root,
it's
tried
like
to
so
look for
outlawed.
that.
It's outlawed. There, it's outlawed in Spain.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
like,
because
damn, y'all got to have this anxiety. You ain't
Do you
taking
know
no.
why? Do you know why they don't allow it?
I don't know why, but I know that has to do because you feel a stimulation. You feel stimulation with that.
Oh.
yeah, because there's also
A lot of
Shilajit.
ex
What's that
smokers,
Shilajit?
a lot of ex smokers take that just to get that type of uh, sensation.
Of relaxation?
Hmm.
That's crazy. That and potassium, guys. I've been getting that in there because I'm not the greatest at pill taking, so it's not like I take them every day. Like I'll skip a day, I'll forget, But I figured within the days that I take them, that is still within my system. But I do need to stay on my ginger, my
Yeah.
curcumin, and all that. And then I have castor oil and I have coconut oil.
So
random
this
things
is
to.
mainly like for sort of health and longevity, not necessarily for like an edge on fitness. This is
Yeah,
just
because here's
general
my
health type
yeah,
things.
because I feel like I'm not the greatest at taking like I have creatine and shit too, but I'm not doing steroids and all that. Like in terms of natural, I think these are what's going to keep me at my strength or
Yeah,
my natural abilities, so that way I can, because we get so caught up on the superficial. After a while, like you have bad kidneys or good liver, that's gonna somehow affect you, obviously. But like we need to work on the inside, and at least now I'm trying to get to this 3 day every 3 months, man. You got like so the parasites, also the crap. We really gotta take time to work on the inside, and if it's a lot there, guarantee you, you know how much
for
energy you
sure.
feel. Like, and I'm
Yeah,
going through one of those savage freaks and or months. I was even vegan once. But it's about chicken steak and vegetables. So it's
you
just
said chicken steak. Yes,
chicken steak. Remember that one? Chicken
I
steak
had
and
two.
vegetables.
You just took me back, man.
Chicken steak and vegetables. But all right. So the reason you brought this up, for those who don't know who's watching, I've been known to eat the sweet. The Okay, and now here's what it is. I do have a, this is like almost like a confession session, right? I do have an issue with sugar. I don't go, if there's nothing here, but if I go outside and I see it, I'm most likely gonna go. But I like chocolate chip cookies. Let's just get to that. And
Yes, you
okay,
do every
love
morning.
Raisin's candy bar.
And now
Okay,
the candy bars.
just
And
that
I'm
one.
and I'm always
That's
like,
that.
how do you do that and still
And
like look like you do?
Have that
here's a
roadmap.
secret. It's part of a, like, I think it's like a business card. If someone could be like, how are you able to do that? What about this? Everything. Everybody.
Oh, there you
Go ahead.
go.
Now
So
say
you
it again.
so you said do you not take creatine or you just aren't currently taking creatine?
I have creatine, but what it is, I'm into the rules. Yeah, I know you guys see me at the work. I'm like, I like to follow certain procedures. If I don't do it right, I don't feel I'm taking it right. Like, I only take creatine when I'm
Hmm.
supposed to all the time, even though I think it's healthy to take it all the time. Because I'm so active, I think that
Yeah,
I might cross that barrier. He was physical today, so
yeah.
I bought it and started using it
But they're starting to talk about how like creatine is like a cognitive
for your
function too.
fucking
It starts to
brain. Yes.
Yeah.
enhance
And
it.
I was like, yo, shit, I'm definitely gonna take it.
Yeah,
So that's the thing too. Some of my beliefs were based off of what they taught us.
yeah,
So before you remember, it's like creatine and just make rap form in your butt. I'm like, what? Like, shit, it's like too much so shit. I think it's just because they didn't have the small understanding of it. It was new or whatever. Because I've been doing this for a minute. And
yeah.
what
Yeah, it was.
whatever's good and what the creatine was like. So everybody put creatine, it was creatine in cereal, milk, all sort of shit. And then after a while, it was free workout was then the gym fly, but everybody's in the fucking locker and fucking their ass off. They drink it right before they get it. Right? They don't do the math. And then they get in there, they're like, oh shit, after like 5 presses, everybody's in the bathroom. So, exactly.
A lot of people thought that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have it in our
Yeah,
own pocket. You know what
yeah.
I feel?
That was a
What I
big thing in the
really
90s.
thought when I first heard it, or even after I read it and heard whatever, I was like, the first understanding, I think a lot of people, they were like, if I do this, it's hard. I can do 2 more reps. You know what I mean? I just thought, but see, in my mind, because I thought it, I did 6 sets of it. And I'm just
Yeah, it's
I'm
funny.
just
It's like we could tell clients like, hey, if
placebo.
you eat 10 mangoes a week, you're gonna put 50 pounds on your detempted, and they're gonna
Yeah.
believe, and all of a sudden people are gonna be like, I feel so much stronger, and you're like,
I
yep,
know it's
those
so funny.
mangoes, like,
Yep.
This time, like, I'm tempted to tell somebody like at least one thing that's kind of true. I'm like, if you do this for 7 days in a row, and then it's like you said, man, it's placebo shit. But that's why I like this, because then after a while, then it's nothing to them. Everything that they would is not afraid of or not good at, I was horrible too. You know what I mean? I don't wish I could show y'all, but like I know when it came to like my boxing, anything I did was obviously wasn't the greatest. I know movement, I understand it, so like I was able to take it in a little better. But I used to, man, listen, you know what I mean? Like I said, those first guys, they were like the fraternity that like they would make sure I didn't mess it up. So like if one guy's name was Darwin, if he would teach me kettlebell, my first kettlebell was this shit guy before the class. If I did something like that, he go, but straight thing. I'm like, good, good. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, but I feel like he wouldn't miss, and that's like, he wouldn't miss a flinch. And like, all of a sudden, all right, and that's, so, and I guess I have Peter, he would teach me cheat shit, you know what I mean? Lucho, I had Lucho, he was actually the GM, you know what I mean? Not like that, you guys are original, but people
You
that he
know,
reminded me of,
Yeah.
so I was
you
gonna
know?
my question, because I don't think I asked a question,
You
but
look like you're in the
now
clouds.
I'm in the
No,
clouds.
no, no, your
So,
background, not you, the background. Go ahead.
uh, you've been here for almost 4 years, then, right?
Yeah, because it's
Your
been
career.
5 years in Cali, and there's always like a year of difference between that. So every year that I'm here for a year, I've been with you guys for
All
one
right,
year less.
and you've been in the fitness industry for almost 15 years.
Yes.
So, what has real fitness meant for you now that you've been here, been around the block? What has this place meant for you now?
Well, it's giving me another chance to be me. Like how good I feel now is how good I felt when I started. Like it's like the love that I have for it. You guys have it. You have the interest. It's not numbers. You know what I mean? What you're giving me is just a chance to be me again. And the scheduling of training, just training, being a trainer, being able to control your life a little bit. You know what I mean? Like this can't really control shit, but when you can pick how much you want to help somebody and that you guys are able to help me, with subbing you guys or just whatever it is, like we have a tight team and that's hard to duplicate or have, but for me to find that twice in my career, you know what I mean? What it's done to me is just, I think it's calmed me down. It's helped me focus and now I can still do that. I came out here to win. So speaking, you know what I mean? Like when I came out from New York, I was like, I'm not going out there to fucking chill. I'm not going out there to hang out. I'm coming out here to play, but I want to be here for the rest of at least another 10 years. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be who I am, which, I don't know. I mean, the tables don't me, uh, you know, be able to put my shit together and get back on my toes, trying to get back on it. After COVID, it was like the, the Avengers shit. That blip, that fucking COVID thing, between that and when I saw you guys, that was like I was in a limbo-ish kind of like I never doubted myself, but there was a little bit where I was like, damn, I came out here like it's kind of crazy, But I don't look at. I know it sounds crazy. I don't want to babble, but I don't really let my present situation affect me unless it's positive. If that makes sense, right? Ups and downs, weather, whatever. I came out here to, and I'm giving y'all 100% of what I'm. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't do that if I didn't think it was appreciated also. You know what I mean? So that's
Hmm.
it. I
Yeah,
mean,
man. It
I'm,
I
shows too,
got
man.
Yeah,
you
for
I
said
know
sure.
it
you
does. I
said
could do a lot more, to be
yeah.
honest. Like I'm not hard on myself, but I definitely got more that I could do. So that's why I'm doing all of this cleansing and cleaning and mentally cleaning, like, giving up the
No, you're
habits.
a good example, man. That's good. You know,
So I try to lead by it because,
there's another thing you said right now that before I left, that you left an impression is all the comic book hero um, outfits.
yeah,
so so if since you're the comic guy, and
yes.
who how would you characterize us right here from the
Well,
Marvel
should
universe?
I give you a hero that y'all relate to?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
This is going to be interesting.
Hold on. All right, so Mike, you are Tony Stark.
I'll
Hold on.
take it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can be a millionaire when you want. Throw that in there, but you got from the technical style, pretty damn smart. You know what I'm
Cool.
saying?
Thank
I
you.
like to bounce off. I'll say this. So if you don't notice, if you want to get philosophic, everybody represents you, whoever you meet, right? And then at least within your circle too, because you can always, when you change your mindset, your friends change, right? So Mike's my tech guy. You
All
guys are
right.
fucking infinity stones, right? So Mike's my tech guy, so I bounce my brain off of that. Lucho is my movie slash quote slash jokey joke man, but I'll call you Professor X because you're sitting from the chair and you know who Professor X is, Lucho?
Yeah, from
All
the
right.
mutants, right?
Right. So when he sits in this thing called cerebrum, he can still connect to other people, even though he's not there. See, he puts on a helmet and then he talks to whoever he wants to speak to. Bam, that's you. He is Gambit. Smooth.
With the guy who threw the cards.
Yeah. Smooth. You ain't got no accent or nothing like that, because I'm not gonna just make you a black hero. You ain't Black Panther for no reason. You definitely got the smooth. You cool. You got the moves. You athletic. I would put you in with a little bit of what's his name? Uh, the Cage. What's his name?
Age.
Cage.
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage. Cause you fit. And then you got Jesse. Jesse's pretty much the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, exactly. He's definitely. I mean, come on.
But you know what?
Or he
Because
could be the Thing, Fantastic Four, right?
no, because he has a heart,
Uh,
but he's just mad testosterone stuff. So maybe it's the Hulk. He's
just
strong too. Shit, big
don't
ass
make him
size.
angry.
Yeah, don't make him
And
angry.
McKenna, like, cause she's like my sarcastic side. You know what I'm saying? Like we bounce off like sarcastic shit off each other, and she's into music. So, but she would be Captain Marvel. She's pretty strong.
Who's Captain Marvel? I don't even know who that is.
She's the most
She was
powerful
she was the most
hero
powerful hero in the movie, but she she started off on Earth and she went somewhere else and got some powers and came back. But she just also Captain Marvel because of the hairstyle. Sad, he is hard. Oh, he's shooting at the wrong time.
What about what about Harrison?
Harrison. Yeah,
Oh, Lord Harrison. Hmm. I think
Hmm.
he could be he could be Beast.
It's funny. I was
Harrison.
thinking
There you
Beast for
go.
Harrison too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
I
Wow.
was thinking Doctor Strange, but I think I like
Oh
Beast
wait, so
better.
Beast.
What about
I would say
Ugo?
Richard who?
Ugo, their cleaning guy.
Hugo that because he comes through and helps on the occasion.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who's that guy? Who? Nightcrawler? He popped in. He popped out.
He pops in and out. Yeah, that works. He's blue. Yeah, that's it. We don't got too many people, right? Yeah, so
Wow.
we're the bit of Avengers slash X-Men. You know what I'm saying? I
What
had to
about
think
you?
quick on
What about you?
Yeah.
Are you
What's
Spider-Man.
Spider Man?
Spider-Man?
Okay,
You can say
just
And I'm
making
gonna tell
Spider-Man.
you
sure.
why too. I'm gonna tell you why. So the reason why he was my first hero is not just because I saw him, because my first three favorites were Spider-Man, Hulk, and Wolverine. So you know I had issues. But Spider-Man because he's deceivably strong and he's smart. And he thinks as he's fighting. You know what I mean? And for the most part, he always has a plan. He's springy. I like his agility and flexibility, but in terms of who he is as a person, he's definitely smart. He's not boisterously loud. You know what I mean? And deceptively strong. You know, for his frame, he's very strong, and I think that applies to me. Every now and then, sometimes you see me pick up a deadlift real quick, you're like, oh shit, and I'm like, yep, one time only, just for today. Nah, because here's my bad habit, guys. I do shit cold randomly. I was trying to stop that. Meaning, like, I'm not saying I'm totally like, oh, I just came into the gym, but I've been working for an hour, and you and Jesse or somebody standing by, three plates on a fucking, on a trap bar. I'm just gonna pick it up, and I
Yeah.
should stop. I should stop doing that. I also have a client at three, guys. So, if you have any more good questions, I'll answer them before, because I got to leave in like 10 minutes to get
No,
there.
I think we kind of
Good.
we kind of covered all things John Mayer today. We were
I
I
think
hope
pretty.
I didn't
so.
babble it
We
up.
got
If you wanted to edit it, I hope I didn't like get too distracted if anything else.
no,
Well,
you're
Start
you'll
saying
good.
topic.
appreciate
No,
this,
good.
John. I'm not going to edit it.
You'll
The AI
appreciate it. No, I'm kidding.
the AI is going to edit this, so I
Yeah.
Oh
think
yeah.
you would
Oh yeah.
appreciate
So
that.
yeah, I'm about. So guys, if you need to know, we'll talk about too. I really feel between me and Mike too, if we put you in the right direction, AI, if you guys get the right person, AI is gonna help you guys out ridiculous. Just in terms of like half of the shit you do. You know what I mean? Automated stuff or to reaching out to people without seeming creepy. AI help out a little bit. I mean, you got us too, but for the most,
It's
me
on
and
the
Mike on
radar.
the AI
That's for
squad,
sure.
That's right.
Geek Squad, Fitness Freaks. And I
All
know I
right.
get brothers, this is
Well,
mine. This is it.
Hell
But
yeah.
he got to eat. He got the next shot. He must be eating. What you got?
No, I got the it's on underneath. It was
Okay.
cold, man.
Yeah,
It
that's why I got
was
this, brother. I ain't gonna
it's
lie to you. It's
there. It's
amazing.
there. It's like,
There it is.
it's
There it
There you
There
there.
it
go.
is.
is.
Represent. So to make
That's
Flash
sure
the
right.
you
RF
get.
real quick.
That's right.
So yeah, thank you. Thank
Appreciate
you,
you all, man.
John.
Yeah,
Y'all
man. We
got a
gotta do this
chance to
eventually.
get to know the man, and you can find him at Real Fitness damn near every day. So
If you see
yeah.
Peter, it may not be me. Just come on in anyway. Come on, sometimes we get both do. All right, man.
Just
Oh yeah,
Appreciate
yeah,
y'all.
yeah. We gotta.
remember guys, once Peter stops the recording, wait until it says 100% up